And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking Jacques Villeneuve, Lewis Hamilton. Jacques Villeneuve having an opinion, as we all do, but he likes to express his opinion, especially when they're controversial, and lots of people like to talk about him. Now, Jacques Villeneuve isn't no alien from upsetting certain fan bases. If you remember Daniel Ricciardo from last year, he absolutely destroyed him. But then Daniel Ricciardo came back. Now, in relation to this, he's talking about Lewis Hamilton and his credibility. I don't really think he's completely slagging him off like he did Daniel Ricciardo, but I do feel he comes up with a few interesting points. Let's talk about them. So we need to go right to the beginning of the year, when Jacques Villeneuve was talking about Lewis Hamilton. And he said, the first thing he has to do is take over the team, make the team his, take it from Leclerc. Which, to be fair, I think, yeah, he's kind of got a point. He needs to be in there, be absolute dominant, which is, I'm not saying the opposite of what's actually happened, because he has won a sprint race. Leclerc has never done that. Ferrari have never done that in China. Having said that, he has struggled a lot more. And Jacques Villeneuve is, let's be fair, he's very much aware that he has struggled a lot more. And this is Jacques Villeneuve talking about, at the beginning of the year, about Lewis Hamilton, what he needs to do at Ferrari. This is from fan code. The link is going to be in the, this is from a fan code. The link is in the description.
Well, when you move team as a world champion, depends where in your career, but you come with a lot of credibility. People know what you can do, what you can achieve, and count on you a lot. But what's always difficult when you change team is you have habits.
Yeah, so he's talking about the credibility when you start with a Formula 1 team, when you go into it. Lewis had a lot of credibility. Yes, he got beaten by George, but this is a 7-time world champion who had won 2 Grand Prix over the year, and arguably one of the best Grand Prix going, which was the Silverstone Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, when maybe his car wasn't the fastest. Now he's talking about the habits, because remember, Lewis Hamilton has been a Mercedes driver for all of his tenure, so he's used to the engine. He's mentioned before he struggled with that Ferrari. Not only that, Lewis Hamilton has also never been in a Ferrari up until this point, and he's spent all his very successful championship years from 2014 onwards in the same team.
There's people you're used to working with, the way the car is, the way you sit in the car. You have to start from scratch again.
He does.
And some of it is you changing some habits the team have, but some, on the other hand, it's also you adapting.
And although Villeneuve's going to say it's not always easy, this adapting, for example, we know Lewis struggles with the brakes. He was unaware that he had to use the engine a lot more to assist with the braking, something that Leclerc has become very accustomed to with the Mercedes.
And that's not always easy. It doesn't work for everyone, doesn't work in every team. But Lewis needed fresh air,
I think we can all agree that Lewis potentially needed some fresh air away from Mercedes. Now, this is the most recent thing. Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton, has been warned you lose credibility and people lose trust in you. That's at least from Jacques Villeneuve. And we'll get into that in a bit. But what does he mean? Well, this is something that he means. And this is Lewis Hamilton during one of his interviews where he just talks himself down. Now, whilst many people will think, yes, he's being honest, it's really, really good. Bruce Lee's always said you should never talk yourself down. That's why it's called spelling. It casts a magic spell, he suggested, on your body. And maybe he's got a point. I mean, positive mental attitude, where's that gone? Lewis normally has it, but sometimes he doesn't, especially in this interview.
A message from you saying sorry, really sorry.
Sorry, guys.
This was from Bahrain.
Sorry, really sorry.
What was that about, and what was the feeling like in the car today?
It's just about my performance, my poor performance.
Is that
poor
because
performance.
There's no reason? You don't know why?
There's no reasons, just I'm not doing the job.
I mean, just look at him. He's absolutely destroyed, isn't he? And it's that negativity that I don't think really helps. And when you're relaying it to the public, it's fantastic that you're honest. But you never saw, for example, someone like Ayrton Senna or Michael Schumacher do it. rarely, to be honest, see Jacques Villeneuve do it, which is why I think a lot of people like him, because he does wear his heart on his sleeve. But this is where sometimes it can work against you. And therein lies this article here. Lewis Hamilton given Ferrari volcano warning in not the right image. Well, obviously, we're not going to get into the whole article, but Jacques Villeneuve is essentially saying this is not the right image to show Ferrari. And we're going to get a few quotes here. He said, you can hear that Lewis is not happy at all. Charles Leclerc has been stepping up more and more. And you can hear that in the interview we just played, that he's not happy. And Jacques continued by saying, and you can hear it in Lewis's comments, I'm sorry. And he's talking about Norris also started doing this. You lose your credibility, he said, and people lose trust in you. They think he's the only there for the ride now. And I think going back to interviews like this, where he's completely down, look.
Is that a Saturday thing? Is this...
I mean...
well, it happens every Saturday, yes.
Yeah. He's completely talking himself down. And to be fair, I've got to kind of level with everyone here and say Jacques Villeneuve, in my opinion, has an absolute point. He's gone on to say that's not the right image to show to a team like Ferrari, who are so fickle. Yes, they are. Ferrari are like a volcano. You need these fireworks. You need the passion, the spark to set things off. If you don't have the sparks, that's a problem at Ferrari. There's not much time. Now, I don't think for a second that Lewis Hamilton's going to get binned from Ferrari, because he's doing a solid job once again. Sprint race, neither Carlos Sainz or Charles Leclerc did it, even when the car was potentially capable of doing that. So we know the magic is still in there, with Lewis just getting the setup correct. And unlike the McLaren and maybe even Mercedes, I do feel that the Ferrari probably are the fourth worst or fourth best, whatever way you want to look at it, car. So they're fighting, arguably, I think, a faster Red Bull, especially in the hands of Max, a faster Mercedes, and very much a faster McLaren. But less of the negativity and more optimism. That's why I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for Lewis Hamilton there. If you made it to the end, though, please give us a subscribe. That'll be absolutely amazing. If you are already subscribed, though, and you want to do that a bit more, hit that like button. And there we go. But until then, speak to you soon. Stay safe. And thank you very much for watching.